welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Guys, I'm bringing you a brand new brand today. This is a watch called Valimor, straight out of Taiwan. I believe the person responsible for this has been in the watch industry, and this is I think they've made a couple of watches before, so it's not their first watch out there. Patented watch. There's a lot of information about this watch. And usually when I look at a new brand, as you guys know, I visit the about page, give you guys a bit of a story, but I am pressed for time, unfortunately, so I can't give you the about of the company or tell you any fantastic stories about them, but I hope to do that by showing you everything about this watch, because this watch is probably the most detailed watch that I've seen. There's just so much going on in here. Definitely a very keen eye for detail and passion from this brand owner, from Valimor, and this is the newest line of watches. One thing interesting though, I believe one of the previous models was endorsed by UFC Dustin Poirier, who recently suffered an unfortunate defeat to a true BMF, Mr. Justin Gaethje. But anyway, let's open the box, and it's an event, guys. From you're looking at the card, right? Look at this, dragon scale or snake skin pattern with this gold printed text. Then you get this cardboard. While it is basic, simple, you can see where it's just a bit of paper applied, but again, it's textured. You've got some embossing here, so there's a lot of effort gone into this watch, and we've got to consider that when we look at the price towards the end. So once you open the box, you've got this, lovely little old school style letter. You've got a card which says thank you in some lovely text. Got some pictures of some dragons. The inspiration behind this watch is indeed King Arthur. So yeah, nice little thing which you'll look at once, you'll put away in all honesty. But I think this brand, or when brands do this, they're trying to show that we like to go all out. So if the packaging's like that, let's see what the watch is like. So you remove the watch, and instantly, right in your face, you have just so much detail. You take it out, and everything you look at, you see more and more and more the deeper you look at this watch. And that is the one thing which is super impressive about this. Now, this watch is available in multiple dial and bezel options. So you've got blues, blacks, browns, some with gilt complementing them around the bezel edges, etc. And you got some without. You've got, I think, normal strap options. You've got a rubber strap, and you've also got a bracelet. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the bracelet version. I would have loved to see the bracelet, because in pictures it looks stunning. I like the design they've done there. They've put some texturing on there. They've done quite a few things on that bracelet, but unfortunately I don't have it in hand, so it's going to be half a review. I always feel, because I spend a lot of time on bracelets as well, because it's all about how the watch wears, and the bracelet is a massive part of a watch, as you guys know. I'm not trying to state the obvious here, but it always helps getting a really good look at what they have to offer on the bracelet side. However, we are going to focus on the watch case, so I should have more time to go through all these details that you can see in front of you. So let's cover the specs first and foremost. So you've got a sapphire crystal, pretty normal. You've got, I believe, 100 meters of water resistance. And then you've got stainless steel construction, etc. You've got a 60 click unidirectional bezel. And this bezel is a bit bouncy, a touch bit of play, but sometimes you find 60 clicks aren't as refined as 120 clicks. Now, while the 60 click will put quite a lot of people off, in all honesty, who uses bezels as much, you just like to have a bezel which you can rotate. So on that side, not the best. However, I wouldn't let this bug you, because there's a lot more to look at, right, before we start looking at all the negatives or any negatives. Definitely not a deal breaker in my opinion. And I think with everything that's going on with this watch, which I'm going to cover, the brand owner has shown us some exceptional watchmaking skills or abilities, whichever way you want to look at it. Now, aside from that, the movement, it's not what you expect. It's not an NH35. It's actually the new Miyota 8315, which is basically Citizen's way of saying, trumping the NH35. A bit late in the day, but it's here. So what it basically does, the movement does hack, whereas the 8215 did not hack, but it did hand wind. And this also has a date function, but it's a dateless watch, so that's a bit of an issue there, which we're going to cover towards the end. But with regards to the movement, as you can see, it hacks, winds. It doesn't have that direct drive system with the 8215s, which puts a lot of people off. So the second hand does not basically start to fall down. The movement they've used in this watch, they have also decorated it, so you can see it's an exhibition case back, and you can see, just look at that heavy duty engraving on the rotor. I'm sure that's got a, I don't know, add weight or remove weight, but it's definitely been done to such a super high degree, and this is very bespoke stuff, guys. This takes a lot of cost, so it's definitely hitting your profit margin when you do these things and you go all out. Even taking a look at the case back, you've got that snakeskin pattern, you've got, you know, really nice text in there, which looks good because it's not over the top. It's also got a pattern on there, and of course the brand name. But yeah, that rotor is amazingly detailed, and you also got some striping available on the chassis, but I don't know if that's on factory or that's something which Valimor have done. Now you can already see, right, those with keen eyes, the details available. So now that we got the specs out the way, let's talk about, you know, the first thing that you can see is that dial. Now this one is the black and gold version, and now this dial is, it's triple layered, right? I mean, you can see this snake skin texture on there and gradiented, so like a fume effect where it's gray and it goes out to black. Now that is a very nice dial. You've got applied Valimor, you know, text. You've got the logo just below the 12 as well. The logo on top of the Valimor is in gold. Then you've got automatic just below that. Again, you know, specialist font, all applied numerals, you know, with that theme behind there. There's a lot going on this dial. And when you look at the chapter ring, you know, you've got, not only have you got your markers, but in between those markers, just have a look at that detailing there. That is very intricate, and I couldn't even imagine the cost, in all honesty. Getting these such bespoke pieces made, you know, the amount of value add that we can see here, the amount of detailing in this, the amount of workmanship gone into this from whichever factory they utilized to get this is exceptional, guys. There's a lot to look at. So this is one of those rare watches where it is a basic watch, however, it's got so much character and personality, and the brand comes out, it makes it a very special watch. Now, the dial isn't the only fantastic thing. I'm sure you've noticed the hands. If we look at the handset, it's a very unique style handset. It's been diamond sort of sharpened or diamond cut, and then you've also got this two types of finishing. You've got polishing on one side and brushing on one side. So this is what Seiko started doing on their mid-range watches as well, and it really does play so well with the light, and just the design. It's like antique daggers, swords, also with the taper on the minute hand. These hands are some of the best looking hands I've ever seen. The sheer detail gone into this is exceptional and phenomenal. And then of course you got the gold second hand. Pay attention to the length of the hands. So clearly, you know, the brand owner, I think his name's Raymond, does know a few things about watches. And in the about page of their website, it does state he's got 15 years of, you know, experience in the watch industry. I don't know what he was doing before that. He has a really good understanding of the supply chain as far as I can tell, because look, sourcing all these parts would have been difficult, and arranging everything to be made in a very specific way. So stunning. You can see just immense detail, and I'm sure I've probably missed one or two little things. You can see these gold little dots just above the hour markers as well. So that is gorgeous. And if you're someone that likes this gothic look and you like these details, this watch is definitely one to consider, because you don't see this around. People don't really put that much effort when they make these watches. Now, next point, let's look at the crown. Again, you know, on point crown, in line with the theme. Got a Swarovski crystal, the shape of that crown. Look at the detailing there. You've also got this little cutout in the center. I mean, these things are unnecessary, right? But they are necessary for this brand owner. So lovely shape, really good grip, and it definitely does suit the theme of the watch. And the beauty is it tucks in really nice into those crown guards. Now, moving on to that bezel. We already looked at the rotation, you know, that little bit of play in there from the 60 click bezel, but again, that the design, the machining on that, you know, the back end of a lizard's tail or a dragon, very good, man, very good. I could show you things all day on this watch, and they've done exceptionally well, which is why I don't want to make a big deal about that bezel, because I don't want to take much away from what the owner has done on all this. Yes, we would like a much tighter bezel and possibly 120 click, but it does line up. It's not that it doesn't line up, it's just a very bouncy one. Moving on to the case, you know, very fine brushing, good transitional details on this. So you've got this horizontal brushing on there on the side of the case. You've got that polished highlight. Clearly, he's been watching my reviews before he made this watch, because he knows I love polished highlights on cases. Along the lugs, linear, soft brushing there. And all in all, a very nice case, very smooth, a standard case shape, but he's done really well with it. Now moving on to the strap, you've got your designs on there, all in line with the theme. It's a very soft rubber strap sourced from Japan, but the end bit also kind of curves down like a snake or a dragon, which is again a nice touch, having this formed in that particular way. Then move over to the side, move over to the other end, you've got Valimor on the keeps and also the logo above that, so that ties in with, of course, the logo and the branding on there. You also got these cutouts which kind of keep secure, if you will. Moving on to the buckle, again, that design and pattern on there. And also these watches are limited edition, so if we pull down that strap, you'll see the limited edition number there, 27 out of 50. So you got 50 in all color options. You can see just the end bit of that quick release spring bar sticking out, again well thought out because it does not have drill lugs. And overall, I've just been going on non-stop, I understand. There's just so much to see, so much going on. Now let's check the loom out because I'm hoping the loom is immense. Looking at the loom, it is full BGW9, and what you'll see is initial burst of bright blue loom. There is a slight color difference from the markers on the bezel insert, then the markers on the dial and the handset. Now the handset has probably got the brightest loom in comparison to the markers on the dial and the bezel insert. Now over time, the bezel insert does start to fade down. As you can see, it's still visible. Plenty of loom on the numerals and the hands, but it is more than adequate. So here's the Valimor Kilgarrah, I believe. I know I'm not saying it right, but it's the Valimor on my 6.5-inch wrist, and it's very comfortable, right? It is very comfortable. You got a 40mm case diameter. You've got a thick case. It's at 15mm. Usually we get them around 14 or 13.5, but that is due to the high dome sapphire crystal. But it doesn't really stand out above the wrist in ordinary way. Lug to lug is around 47.5, which is more than adequate, which is why it fits so good on the 6.5-inch wrist. The strap does a really good job because you can see the strap is formed, right? You've got some lines here. It gives it some sturdiness, so it clips in really good to that buckle there, and also with the keeping that bracelet fixed, keeping that strap fixed, sorry, and then that curve on the tail. It just helps the strap tuck in really nicely and really conform and grab hold of your wrist without being too tight as well. So it looks good, guys. I think 6.5-inch wrist wears well. The dimensions are spot on. It's not oversized. I am disappointed that I didn't get the bracelet because looking at all the detail, and the bracelet would give me, I feel, an overall view of the brand and how good the watch actually is, because the bracelet is a huge part. But from what I see, I am deeply impressed, very impressed from Valimor. Just looking at everything available, just the sheer, attention to detail. I haven't seen a watch that has done it to this level. It looks so good to the eyes. The handset stands out. This diamond handset, the brushing and the polishing, just immense detail. And as well, the rotor on the 8315 with 60 hours power reserve. So they've done really well. They've given us a lot of design and a fair amount of specification. So what is the price on this? The price, these watches will start around £276, and it can go up to 354 depending on the bracelet option. So if you got the strap option, as I said, 270 and 350 on the bracelet. So if the bracelet costs that much, surely it's a very significant bracelet, but it's a shame I can't see that bracelet. So I will put Valimor's details within the description. Guys, if you like what you see, feel free to check them out. I think it's a very unique watch, so they definitely are worth checking out, and you've got a good movement in there as well. Don't be put off by the bezel as much because of everything else around it. So thank you as always, and I will see you on the next video.